Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu lands in Canada tomorrow, and when he meets with Prime Minister Stephen Harper, they will not be short of subjects to discuss. Violence in Syria, security in the Middle East, along with, of course, Iran's nuclear program are all likely to be on the agenda. For a look ahead to the leaders' meeting, I'm joined now by Shimon Fogel, CEO of the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs. And this relationship between Stephen Harper and Netanyahu is a special one. I think special for a Canadian Prime Minister, between a Canadian leader and an Israeli leader. It's the second time Netanyahu's been here. We were just showing pictures. The two men last met, I think, at the UN last fall. Right. What is it about that these two guys get along pretty well?
So they do. I think that it's a closer relationship than an Israeli Prime Minister has had with a Canadian counterpart for many decades. The frequency of engagement, they speak quite often. And I think that Netanyahu, simply put, really values Prime Minister Harper's insight into developments in different parts of the world and appreciates the advice, the perspective, and the support that he's able to convey.
And of course, Canada is a G8 leader, so Harper circulates in fora, and that at G8, at G20, and there he is presumably, and I think it's pretty clear from what he said, being an advocate in many cases, a defender of Israel. At the UN, certainly Canada has been a very strong defender under Harper's watch about all the shenanigans that goes on at the UN that are anti-Israel. And that doesn't seem to be lost on Netanyahu either.
So I think one of the attributes that Stephen Harper has as a communicator is that he's able to bring into very sharp relief things that are going on. And I think he's brought that to his approach to addressing different challenges and problems within the international community. Contrary to the suggestion that Stephen Harper has diminished Canada's role internationally, I think that there's ample evidence that Canada's contribution internationally in the multilateral as well as the bilateral route is very much appreciated, and Canada is playing a more active role in concretely contributing to the advancement of principles that are bedrock Canadian values, Canadian interests. Look at the progress he's made in China, which I think is significant, and he just doesn't get enough credit for that.
Of course, Netanyahu is in this side of the world to meet with our guy, but he's going to meet with President Obama. Do we attribute is there any significance to his meeting here first and then going to the White House? Does it make a difference, do you sense?
So I think that it has significance on a couple of levels. One is that I think it's a reflection of the extent to which Israel and this particular Israeli Prime Minister values what Prime Minister Harper has to offer in terms of a perspective and advice with respect to some of the challenges Israel's facing in the immediate, but that aren't too far away from Canada. Secondly, though, I think that it's a reflection as well of a recognition of the unique role that Prime Minister Harper plays with his American counterpart. And I think that the ability to come here, take stock of the situation, get some advice on what the best approach in Washington to achieve the kind of consensus that everybody is searching for is an important tribute to the role that Canada can play. And of course, I think Netanyahu feels a responsibility to share with Canada Israel's most current perspective on some of the developments in the region.
Now, and he's going to do that. He's going to be meeting with some Jewish Canadians during his weekend here. From your perspective as a Jewish Canadian, what are some of give me your sense of the community and how it feels about Iran? Should Israel perhaps, the big question, strike first, wait, work a multilateral solution? What's he likely to hear from Canadians about the tremendously difficult situation Israel finds itself in right now?
So the first thing I think that he's going to hear from Canadians is appreciation for the extraordinarily difficult circumstance that Israel is confronting. There's a whole band on the eastern frontier of Israel that's in absolute turmoil, from Lebanon all the way through Syria, Jordan, Egypt, and then circling back to Gaza. And I think that they're going to validate that Israel is facing some very serious problems on that front, and quite possibly an existential threat from Iran. Nobody is excited about the prospect of a possible military confrontation with Iran. And I think that Israel, more than any other country, and those that support Israel, appreciate just what the consequences of going that route would be. So I think that there's going to be an expression of support recognition of the challenges facing Israel, and a desire to see the international community come together in a seamless and consistent way to apply the kind of sanctions and use the diplomatic route that will compel Iran to comply with international will.
Shimon Fogel, thank you so much for joining us, and I know you're looking forward to this visit. And I should tell folks that we should have a live press conference between Prime Minister Harper, a joint press conference, Prime Minister Harper and Prime Minister Netanyahu, probably around 12:30, 1 o'clock Eastern tomorrow afternoon. Thank you again.
Pleasure.